Hello, welcome to my demonstration of the before and after decision-based editing strategy. First, I want to show you that I've set my page up so that I have one paragraph from one of my essays. I've cut and copied it twice in this document. So here's one copy of the paragraph, and then here's the same exact paragraph as well. So I copied it twice. I labeled the first one before, and I'm not going to do anything to that paragraph because that's going to be my original paragraph, and I want to keep it exactly the way I had it so that after I make my edits, I can compare the two paragraphs to see which one I like better. So I'm going to make most of my edits, or all of my edits, on this paragraph here. And for the before and after editing, a decision-based editing strategy, it asks you to delete 10 to 15 words from your paragraph. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll narrate my thinking as I do so. So I'm going to start with my first sentence this time around, and then work my way through the paragraph and make changes based on the words that I delete. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first sentence. Watching this film made me realize that for most of my life, I've ignored the conversations about climate change. Watching this film, I think if I'm focused on cutting words, I think I can take out this film made me. Maybe I could do this. Watching this film, I realized that for most of my life, I've ignored conversations about climate change. I realized that for most of my life, I've ignored conversations about climate change. Okay, so I think I've taken out 2 words so far. I heard about climate change through television shows like Oprah and Good Morning America, and I watched Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth. Okay, I think I heard about climate change through television shows like Oprah. I probably don't need that and if I'm really focused on cutting out words. Oprah, Good Morning America, and I probably don't need to say I watched, and that's good. Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth. Television, uh, maybe through shows like, television, Al Gore's movie was a movie. Television shows, maybe I could take out television. I might take that out and then come back to it. I heard about climate change through shows like Oprah, Good Morning America, and Al Gore's documentary, An Inconvenient Truth. Okay, I'm liking that. But I'm noticing is that when I take words out, it causes me to make edits to other aspects of my, or other parts of my sentences. Like this one, I actually combined 2 sentences together, I think. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go on. Flickers of concern rose inside, would rise in front of me, but they quickly faded, and I'd return to my daily life. Okay, flickers of concern. I don't like rose. I would grew. Okay, wait, grew. I'm gonna change these words. I'm kind of losing track of how many words I'm deleting. I'm sort of grew. Flickers of concern grew inside me, but they quickly faded, and I'd return to my daily life. Okay, I think I like flickers of concern grew inside me, but they quickly faded and I'd return to my daily life. Okay, I think I like that sentence. I think I might be up to 8 words that I've deleted, but I'm finding as I go on with this activity that I'm mostly just zooming in on not keeping track of how many words I'm deleting. I'm mostly just looking for chances to delete words and seeing how it impacts other sentences around it. So climate change and all of its calamities. Okay, and all of its, I think I can, yeah, let me see how this sounds. Climate change calamities sounded so far away, or too much like science fiction. Okay, I think I can take out this and. I like that change. I liked how I did that. Climate change calamities sounded so far away, or too much like science fiction. Period. I like that a lot. I felt powerless to do anything to help, so I grew apathetic, trusting others, experts and scientists who were much smarter than me to fix a problem. I don't. Okay, I could probably go right to trusting experts and scientists, and you know what? I probably don't need that. Who are much smarter than me, even though they are much smarter than me. I think I don't need that in my sentence. It doesn't help. I felt powerless to do anything to help, so I grew apathetic, trusting experts and scientists to fix a problem. Okay, I really like how this is working. Now that I've watched the film, I realize I'm one of the lucky ones. I realize I'm one of the lucky ones. I have a choice. I can ignore climate change because I do not feel its impact in my life. I realize that, um, you know what? I really don't think I need any of this because I think the heart of what I'm trying to say, now that I've watched the film, I realize that I can ignore climate change because I do not feel its impact in my own life. Yeah, okay, I like that. And I've lost track of how many words I deleted, but I know I'm deleting more than 10 at this point, I think. I'm going to go on. In the film Before the Flood, directed by Fisher Stevens, the film's producer, Leonardo DiCaprio, asked President Bill Clinton why he thinks people are not as concerned about climate change as they should be. Clinton replies, and there's his quote. I can't take anything out of there because it's a quote. When I heard these words, I felt as if President Clinton was holding up a mirror. Um, that doesn't make sense because then he'd be looking at himself, right? If he was holding up a mirror. Okay, I felt as if President Clinton was, I'll just say it, I felt as if he was talking to me. Okay, and then I don't need that other sentence. So I'm actually deleting a lot of words doing this activity. So the problem seemed too abstract to me because I have plenty of food, water, electricity, and gas for my car. I can live my life very comfortably. Aside from the occasional long duration storm or heat waves, I don't feel the impact of climate change. I think I'm the reason. I really don't need that whole shebang there. I think I can take that out. I think. I don't know. Okay, yeah. Okay, the problem seemed too abstract to me because I have plenty of food, water, electricity, and gas for my car. Maybe I'll just add on. And I don't really feel the impact. I don't really feel a dramatic change in the weather where I live. I think I'm the reason. Yeah, I like that. I think I'm the reason DiCaprio and Fisher made this film. They want people like me to realize that even though we don't feel the devastation of climate change right change, I could take that out probably, others around the world do. And that should be reason enough to pay attention. Uh, okay, I'm going to make a massive change here. That should be reason enough for me to stop ignoring climate change. Yeah, okay. So I think that concludes my demonstration of the before and after decision-based editing activity. And I really like the changes that I made to my other sentences because I found that as I was deleting words, I was also making other edits that actually led me to creating a much tighter paragraph.